Guys, we're back again and doing some more work on the intercooler area of the car. As you can see, here's our intercooler here, and we are going to go ahead and replace it with our Mishimoto. This is the intercooler Y-pipe kit. So we are going to replace the first part of the intercooler, which is right here, this rubber grommet. And then if we flip over our intercooler, you can see how crappy this hosing is here. Look at that. We're going to go ahead and replace this as well. Let go, buddy. I'm trying to do it. Right here. And then we're also going to replace one more hose integrated with the blow-off valve. So let's go ahead and get started. You want to say hi?
Hi.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with doing that.
So we just went ahead and finished up our install of the Mishimoto
intercooler kit for my 05 WRX. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of this here. So we do have the Mishimoto coupler. These are the Mishimoto clamps. I wasn't able to get a second one in here. They were too wide, so I put in the stock one, just replaced that there. We do have the Mishimoto here. Here's the Y pipe that goes into the turbo, back behind the intercooler there. And then we also have, you can see it down here, we actually have the blow-off valve pipe that goes over, and you can kind of see it right down in there. That is the into the turbo inlet. I wasn't able to use the Mishimoto clamps. These are awesome. These are like the better quality ones. I had to use the stock one only because I couldn't get tools in there when I was working in there to tighten that up using this style of clamp. It just wasn't working. So these clamps are awesome, as I said, but in some situations I did need to use some of the stock ones. But other than that, everything lined up good. So I did have a little bit of tightness putting in the blow-off valve. After I got everything in place and I went to put the blow-off valve here, the new tubing is so strong and tight, especially new, that I did need to have a second set of hands to help get the blow-off valve perfectly in place, because you have to seal every one of these hoses. Like, you can't have a boost leak anywhere. So everything needed to be tightened down. So if you are doing this on your own car, pay special attention to everything. Like at one point, the blow-off valve tube here runs down under there, and that came undone. So like everything has to be tight. You can't have anything loose. Like, you can't forget any of your hoses here that you would have taken off. Everything has to be re-secured and perfect. You need to spend the time to do that right. But other than that, everything else turned out great. So let's go ahead and turn this sucker over for our first time and see how it sounds. Alrighty, so everything turned out well with our install of the Mishimoto intercooler kit. It was a little difficult in some situations. A few recommendations I can give you guys is have a second set of hands. I did not do that through the install, and it became quite frustrating just with pulling things off, like the intercooler with the Y pipe there. Other things like getting the blow-off valve on. There were certain situations that were a second set of hands to pull from one direction or the other would have been super helpful, especially with like putting the intercooler back on and getting everything to line up nicely. It just was a little bit difficult. The other thing is the clamps that came with the Mishimoto kit are awesome. They're awesome quality clamps. You couldn't have asked for better quality, but they're not realistic in some situations. Many parts when I was doing this install, I'm like, this clamp just isn't going to work. It just isn't. In practice, it looks good, but once you actually are installing it on the car, you don't have the room to go ahead and use that type of clamp, or that clamp's probably not the best, only because of the fact of like, hey, I can't get a tool in there to tighten it down properly. So using some of the stock clamps worked fine. They'll do the trick. And other than that, everything else worked out really well. I'm really happy with the Mishimoto kit. I think the red looks really good, popping against the engine to match my Perrin mass airflow pipe as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit longer than I wanted, but everything worked out well. If you guys do want to see more videos coming out of my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell, which will keep it active so you're notified when new videos go live. And I do have more Mishimoto hoses coming here soon to replace some of the stock ones as well. So please look forward to some of those future videos. Take care.